Hey guys, it's Doug and
Four Towers.
welcome to Coffee and a Chat, episode number 3. And we're going to do a kind of a different episode today. Today I thought we'd talk about people's attitudes about following the rules ever since the pandemic. I'm sure you've noticed that people just don't seem to want to play by the rules anymore lately. Government tells us, okay, we can only be in groups of 5. What do we see? Groups of 10 and 15 and so on. Or more, exactly. Groups on the toboggan hills, on the skating on the rivers. It appears ever since the pandemic started, people are kind of flouting the rules, more or less thumbing their nose at the authorities, saying, we're not listening. They may have done that at first. Listened. Most did. But lately, it just seems like more and more people are getting, using the term, I'm COVID exhausted. Right. I don't want to follow the rules anymore.
Right.
If we've all followed the rules and just kind of swallowed our pride a little bit, we could be normal, have a normal life, be able to go sit in a restaurant, go and sit in a Tim Hortons, or wherever, and just get on to living. But no, people want to just do their own thing, and we're paying the price for it. What do you think? Do you think we're getting worse, or?
Oh, definitely. There's a lot more people who aren't following the guidelines. I mean, I'm in the beginning when this all started back in March. You didn't see anybody out. You could go for a walk and barely see another pedestrian or hardly any cars on the road.
Exactly.
Or anything like that. And now, there's tons of cars on the road and, there's tons of pedestrians. And like you said, there's people making their own skating rinks and stuff.
Yeah.
But there's, near us, there's at least 2 that we know of that are kind of in public. That's in a park and one's on a school grounds. And you'll see 5, 10, 20 people there all the time. And same with the toboggan hills. Like, we just passed one yesterday. There's hundreds of people. It's a big hill. But there's hundreds of people there now. And same with, we have a big river near us. And it wasn't even fully iced over.
No,
it wasn't. And it's a deep river, and it moves. And there had to have been hundreds on it. We're not exaggerating here. There's a lot of people on this ice.
And,
And I know the argument is that it's outside, most people are social distancing, but a lot of people are not wearing masks.
No.
And they weren't social distancing that much.
No.
And I know they say it's easier, or it's harder for it to transmit outside. I know that. They said that, but it is still transmitting, and it's not, I know a lot of it's in the workplaces and stuff, but we have heard of a lot of instances of, from parties, even outdoor parties, or people have gotten it still, so, but yeah, I know it gets tired, especially if you're in the GTA.
Oh, my gosh.
We've been locked down for the better part of a year.
Yeah.
We were just talking about this today, that since it shut down in March, it's been almost a year in roughly 2 weeks' time.
Yes.
And so we were shut down completely in March to, things loosened a little bit in June, July, but patios were allowed to open, but there's still no indoor dining, there's no movies or anything like that. And then stores were allowed to do curbside pickup. Mm-hmm. But you couldn't do indoor shopping, not in the GTA.
Of course not.
Not in the GTA. And then by later July to August, then indoor dining came back.
But it was still at a lower capacity.
Oh, it's lower capacity. It's been in lower capacity from the beginning, if there's been any. And then we were shut down again, not completely shut down, we couldn't do indoor dining again, but they could have patios. And then, okay, they have indoor dining again. But then by November, here on the GTA, it's been shut down again completely. Even stores, small stores are having to do curbside pickup again or delivery. So, I get it. It's kind of tiresome to be in lockdown.
Of course.
Most of the year. But, there's a reason for it because our numbers in the GTA are the highest in the province.
And exactly. And, I don't want to take a political stance, and I don't want to say I'm affiliated with anyone, but the premier made a point. It's up to you.
Well, of course.
If you followed the rules and you did what we're asking, life would return to normal. Things would be manageable. But human beings are a fickle beast. They want to do what they want to do.
Right.
And by darn, who are you to tell me otherwise?
See, it's funny. There seems to be a couple of camps here. There's ones that will follow the rules and trust in the government. They may not like everything in the government, either whether you're liberal or conservative. Because, I mean, in Ontario, you're dealing with both parties. I mean, yes, the federal government is liberal and our provincial government is conservative. So, you may like either one, you might like neither. But so, and some people trust them and will follow it. And a lot of people don't trust anything the government says, regardless of their level or conservative, and they won't trust the media and they're lying to you or whatever. So you've got the camps where people will trust what the health officials are telling, not the politicians, but the scientists, the health officials are saying, and will follow the rules. Then you've got those that don't believe anything, that it's all a lie, that it's a big hoax, or that they're trying to destroy the economy, and they're just wanting to do everything. Let's open everything back up. It's all a hoax kind of thing. And then they're kind of in the middle, where they believe that there's a pandemic, but they believe it's only the elderly that seem to be sick or dying from this.
Oh,
and
God.
So protect the LTC homes and let everybody else live. Well, if you actually just listen to... Now, see, I'm not going to bash the media because I believe, take what the news or whatever tells you, but you do have your own mind.
Of course.
As well.
Of course.
And I don't believe they're all lying or fear-mongering,
No.
to tell you the truth. But, they're not necessarily telling the entire picture, maybe because they just don't have the time to do that. And so they're focusing on specific areas that are of the most concern, like the LTC homes.
Yes.
Because they've been a problem even before the pandemic. So,
for sure.
Yes, let's focus on that. But the thing is, it's kind of giving you a false narrative that that's all that's dying or that's all that's having a problem here. And it's not. There are plenty of people younger than that who are not in long-term care that are dying or having long-term effects from this. So I think that kind of drives a bit of the narrative too.
Oh, I totally agree with that.
Depending on what news you follow or whatever, you're thinking it's only the LTC home, so let us all live. And yes, I understand that the businesses need to open. I mean, it's very tough for the small businesses right now. Of course it is. And yes, I do think the government should be stepping in better and helping them here.
Of course.
Because they are struggling.
Yes. Well, even in our area here alone.
Everywhere, sure. But, what's really the solution? I know a lot, I guess that's a topic for the more extended one. But I know a lot of people are mostly because they want to try to force the issue and try to get it open, they are defying the rules. Like the one Adamson's Barbecue in Etobicoke, I think it is, or North York, opened against the rules. And I know not too long, I don't think it happened because I didn't hear anything about it. I know about 100 and some odd businesses were planning to do the same. I understand where they're coming from.
But also,
But it's...
it boggles your mind.
I mean, we were talking about this earlier, about the differences of what we're doing to what, say, Australia and New Zealand is doing. Now, they pretty much have returned to normal life, and they shut down areas. Like, they literally shut down areas. Like, you can't come in or out of those areas.
Of course.
That's not the case here. People are still traveling between regions. And now people will say, well, of course, that it's easy for them. They're islands. Yes, granted, they are islands, but comparable, if you take New Zealand out of the picture, they have about roughly 5 million, just under 5 million inhabitants. I mean, GTA is more than that combined than all of New Zealand. But Australia has over 25 million
Yes.
people, or 26 million, almost
26 million people.
We have 38 million in
Yeah.
Canada, so it's comparable in size. Yes, we have a little bit more, but not by not like the States, which is 300 million.
Exactly.
You know? And they're vaccinating more. This is what I heard today. They're vaccinating more people a day now than Ontario or Canada has total. But we'll get to that another
That'll be
thing.
another show.
But the thing is, when people cite, especially Australia, it makes sense because it is a comparable in size.
Yes.
Roughly.
Yes.
I mean, it's not that far off, really.
The population numbers are comparable.
So,
I agree.
Yeah, I get exhaustion.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're exhausted.
Yes.
We're on the GTA. We're sick of being locked down. But if we actually did what, say, the people in Australia are doing, we'd be able to live like them by
Of
now.
course.
You know?
Of course.
And they could just close down the pockets that see the hotspots. And I think part of the problem here also is they're too slow. They're I agree with what Andrew Horwath has said. They're reactive instead of being offensive.
Of course.
On the offense, instead
I
of
totally
reacting.
agree with that.
We've been reacting the entire pandemic, and that's why we're behind a lot of other countries with this.
And if we, as a populace, kind of use the model that Australia had done and actually listen to the government, what the government said to them. It's like,
Right.
This is what we're doing. This is how it's going to be. You know, it's not please and thank you. This is how it's going to be.
And they enforce it.
And they enforced it. Here in North America, we're like, please
listen to us.
Please listen to us.
And so people are like, it's a question, so they're ignoring it.
Yeah.
But I think part of the problem is a lot of people don't trust the government, and they don't trust media. And that has, really, that's eroded over the last 4 years. And we won't necessarily say why, but I think there's a good reason why, and probably a lot of you can think of why.
Exactly.
But, and how do you get that back? And I think that's partially the first step in people listening to the government.
Oh, I totally agree with that.
Or health officials. You know.
Because now we're looking at maybe the possibility, like it's been even talked about, even a third wave.
It's possible, yeah.
A possibility.
And that's because of the variants.
Of the variants that are now here in North America. And that scares the heck out of me. We've already gone through 2 waves. We've been locked down almost a year.
Yeah.
I don't want to be locked down another year.
Or another 4 or 5 months. Because someone else chooses that they want to rent out a storage locker and have 100 people have a party. Yeah.
I shouldn't have to pay for someone else's ignorance.
Yeah.
I'm following the rules. If I can follow the rules at 50 years of age, so can you.
Right.
Our government needs to take a more stringent approach. It's no longer it's please and thank you. This is how it is. This is what happens if you don't do it. Let's get this done.
Well, then I think because it's a conservative, that really falls on the provinces unless Canada, the federal government, enacts the Emergencies Act, and then it'll fall to the federal government, which they have not done yet.
Okay.
I know a lot of people want to say that Trudeau's is communist and all that. Well, if that was the case, you wouldn't have very many freedoms right now, and which you do. So I know a lot of people want to say, that they're taking our freedoms away by making us wear masks or to lock down. That's another issue of why a lot of people aren't doing it, but we'll have to get into that into extended.
Yes, well, we're definitely gonna discuss this more in our extended episode, but this is a topic that's been ongoing since the beginning of this, and if you guys have any comments about that, please let us know. Email us at cupofjoechat@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you, or if you tune into our YouTube channel
for the extended chat,
hit us in the comment section. Let us know what you think. Thank you for coming into the studio and recording the show with me today. Guys, thank you for listening, and we hope to see you again soon. Have a great night, and talk to you soon.